Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft and I give you my opinions on it. Today, we have a treat. We're going to take a look at Goat House, man. He put out a new mock Monday. You're going to be viewing this Tuesday. And there were a few interesting takes in there, and I just want to go ahead and go over it. He included some trades, just 2 trades, I believe. So, yeah, that's going to be fun. Before we get into that, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Baroshmo, just in case you did not know so. Go ahead, become a bro, and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Throw a comment on the video. It helps the video out a ton. This week, we got the Senior Bowl going on, so I'll have a couple of podcasts out, probably Tuesday and Friday on that after the practices wrap up. And we got memberships now. So if you want to support the channel, the best way you can do that is becoming a member. We have a couple of tiers, and if you want to be the next Mock the Mock, you gotta become a Bro Scout tier. It's only $10, man, and you get a lot of value. And it only gets better as the channel gets bigger. So let's do that. Let's go ahead. Let's dive in. And Trevor Lawrence, number 1. Duh. Let's move on. Zach Wilson, number 2. So he didn't have a Deshaun Watson trade here. So very interesting. He didn't have a Deshaun Watson trade in the whole thing. So yeah, I think if they don't make that trade, Zach Wilson's excellent for Slaylaw's scheme. It's a very quarterback-friendly scheme with LaFleur there, too. So I think Zach Wilson would be a fine pickup here and the correct one. I know some people think they should go another area with Sam Darnold. I think financially, it's just better to go with the rookie contract opposed to maybe having to extend Darnold if he does have a solid year, which he probably would. But I like Wilson's upside a ton, and I think it's worth it. Penei Sewell going to the Dolphins at 3. If they can't trade out this pick, the 2 picks I like here is Jamar Chase or Sewell, so I'm totally okay with this. We've talked about it extensively on this channel on what the Sewell pick means in terms of kicking Robert Hunt into guard, which would be excellent. I think he actually translates better in the NFL at that position. Justin Fields going to the Falcons. I think, hey, if you're the Falcons, you're picking here in the top 5, top 4. You don't expect to be picking here again next year, especially with Matt Ryan as your quarterback. Then, yeah, go ahead and grab your quarterback of the future and let him sit behind Matt Ryan for a year or 2. There's no problem at looking into the future and being set at the quarterback position for the next 10 years. So, yeah, I think it's a good pick. The Bengals, they go Jamar Chase. It makes sense that if they can't get their hands on Sewell, don't reach for the next tackle on the board, whether it's Darius Saw or Slater. Either trade out or take Jamar Chase, who has history with Joe Burrow, and he is, in my opinion, the best receiver in this draft. A lot of people forget what he did in 2019. The guy's phenomenal. This pick, very interesting. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah going to the Eagles. Parts of this does make sense because think about they picked a very similar prospect last season in Davion Taylor out of Colorado, who played the exact same role that JOK played there for Notre Dame. Kind of that box safety / slot hybrid. But I mean, with JOK, you get in a guy that's way more polished and with a bit more upside compared to Taylor. So if you want to like maybe just have an immediate upgrade at that position, then yeah, why not? With the recent concerns with Micah Parsons, they're not recent, but they are recently coming out. It's very likely he may fall in this draft. So a guy like JOK could definitely maybe leapfrog him. Maybe getting a corner here, or maybe one of the other receivers might be better value. But I kind of get it. I could see some justification for this pick for the Eagles. Trey Lance to the Lions. If they're dealing Matthew Stafford, it makes all the sense in the world. Kyle Pitts to the Panthers totally makes a ton of sense because, I mean, I know I've mocked Mac Jones here. That was just flashes some possibilities. I don't think Mac Jones will go in the top 10, but I was just throwing out some possibilities out there. You know, I was testing the water, stirring the pot. But Kyle Pitts, yeah, man, it's Joe Brady's still in town. I think Kyle Pitts could be just a weapon, a mismatch nightmare, especially with guys like DJ Moore, who's really good after the catch, really good downfield, and Robbie Anderson, who's a bit of the same, very good downfield. You get a guy who can be a downfield threat, can be a separator. Not necessarily the best contested catch, or not necessarily the best after the catch guy, but he gives you a big target for Teddy Bridgewater or whoever else they may have there. So let's move on to the next portion he's got here. And he's got Patrick Surtain going to the Broncos. I think it's a good scheme fit for Vic Fangio's system. So yeah, I think Caleb Farley, currently I got him over Surtain on my board, just because athletically he's much better. Devontae Smith, he has the Dolphins trading up to get Devontae Smith. I have no qualms if they end up leaving the first round with Devontae Smith and Penei Sewell. I think that's great. That's phenomenal. I think Smith will go in the top 10. The guy had a phenomenal season, obviously one of the best receiving seasons of all time there at Alabama. He is providing something much different than what the Dolphins have there in Devontae Parker and Preston Williams, which is something they really, really need. There is the Tua connection there, so I don't mind. I think he had them giving up he had them giving up their 50th or their second round pick, their original second round pick, so I have no problem with that. It's not a bad trade for the Cowboys. Acquiring more picks, is never a bad thing. I think they might have to give up more to move up that far, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm not here to question the trade. Just here to mock the mock. Micah Parsons going to the Giants. I think it's a great fit for a guy that might be maybe the best edge in this class. The guy is great off the edge. When asked to pass rush, he was phenomenal. There are the character concerns, the character red flags. I'm sure those will be looked into extensively during the offseason process. So just going to have to wait to hear more about that. But I think as of right now, it'd be hard to say he falls out the top 10, top 15. Caleb Farley going to the Niners. Can make a case for Mac Jones here. It is what it is. They really need help at corner. I mean, they have four guys that are all free agents at the corner position. So bring a guy with his athleticism. He does have these elite lockdown traits that, again, made CJ Henderson a top 10 pick. And it could be the same for Farley. And then the Chargers go Christian Darrisaw, a guy with great combination of size and nastiness. I think he's probably really good for a zone blocking scheme. So, I mean, that fits well. You got Brian Bulaga there on the right side, so bring him to be your left tackle. Protect your quarterback by any means. And then Rashawn Slater going to the Vikings here. I like this pick a lot. I'm starting to like this a bit more and more. Just because if a lot of people are projecting that Slater could be a guard at the next level, I say let him sit there at tackle, man. If he doesn't do well, then yeah, slide him into guard. I mean, the Vikings really need help on the interior, but I think having that type of flexibility, that versatility is great. Rashawn Slater is an awesome prospect. So, yeah, I'm totally cool with this with the Vikings. They really do need the help there on the offensive line, especially on the interior. So, I mean, honestly, you could start him immediately with Riley Reif at left tackle. You already have Brian O'Neill at right, Ezra Cleveland, and then Rashawn Slater are your both guard spots. So, I'm cool with that. Jalen Waddle going to the Lions. The Lions make the trade to the Patriots here. The Patriots give up the first rounder this year and next year to get Matthew Stafford. That's probably going to be the asking price for teams if they want to get their hands on Matthew Stafford. I think Patriots are definitely up there. They're definitely among probably the top 3 teams to make a bid for Stafford. I think Colts are maybe a bit more likely, but again, we'll see, man. We'll find out. But if Waddle, yeah, if he's down here, dude, yeah, the Lions, they need help at receiver because they have none. They have no help. I mean, Galladay, he's probably gone unless he gets franchised, but he's probably gone. Marvin Jones, he's a free agent. Danny Amendola is a free agent. They got Cephas, their 5th rounder, which y'all reminded me in my last mock the mock video. Sorry. Who's more of a contested catch guy. I think Waddle is a perfect complement if they really do want to maybe I guess develop or see what they really have in Cephas, see if he can be a starting caliber wide receiver. I think a Waddle is a perfect guy to go with them. And then really you're setting up Trey Lance for success. Maybe even if you don't start him, but you're starting him this season, you're setting him up for success in the long run because, again, you want to get those guys playmakers, and their offensive line, honestly, is pretty solid. So J.C. Horn going to the Cardinals. It's a good scheme fit. I mean, you got guys like Christian Barmore, I think could be possible here. Edge rusher could be very likely here, especially with Kwity Paye still on the board. I mean, I don't know, man. I might be slamming the table for Kwity Paye. That's a guy that I think has very good traits. But J.C. Horn, he is a scheme fit in that defense, so it kind of makes sense. J.C. Horn's probably the only there's probably only 3 for sure first-round corners in this class, and J.C. Horn being the 3rd there. So he's big, he's physical, he fits what the Cardinals like at corner. And then we're going to move on to the Las Vegas Raiders. They're going Jalen Phillips. So Jalen Phillips is officially the first edge off the board here. There are concerns. There are questions with Phillips in terms of concussions forced him into early retirement. But go house to his benefit, or at least I don't want to. I want to make sure that his argument, his reason for Phillips going this high is accurately portrayed, because he said it wasn't Phillips' decision to retire, that UCLA made the decision for him. And that's why eventually he sought out that transfer to Miami. But still, I don't think that relieves me. That doesn't ease my soul in terms of these concussions are a big thing, especially for those guys in the trenches. Those guys get beat around a lot, man. It's the most physical position on the field. So for me, with guys like Kwity Paye still on the board, I mean, you even can make a case for Gregory Rousseau. I know not everyone's necessarily that high on him, just because he is a bit raw. There is definitely some parts of his game that needs to develop, but those concussion concerns are a real deal. Keep in mind, Jalen Phillips, his dominance came over the second half of the season for Miami. So we're talking about a small sample size of dominance. I'm totally cool with the Raiders picking, though. I think they need pass rush in the worst way. That might be their biggest priority this offseason. Christian Barmore going to the Cowboys, so the Cowboys not getting secondary help, but Christian Barmore, very phenomenal if they want to really seek out a bit more pass rush on the interior, as well as a solid run stopper. You're getting one heck of an athlete in Barmore, so which leads me to believe with Dan Quinn, they're still going to be playing like kind of this like one gap type of scheme along the defensive line, because I assume Neville Gallimore is going to be the starter there. Then again, that might be a guy they just kind of rotate in with, just be a part of the rotation. I don't know. We'll eventually see. Mac Jones going to Washington. I think I'm starting to I'm starting to fall off the Mac Jones as a first rounder type of hype. I definitely think late first round though, he might be warranted at least a shot. It's just, to be honest with Jones, like a lot of his stuff was schemed. I always make the comparison because him and Joe Burrow, they have very similar arm talent. They throw with great anticipation. They have pinpoint accuracy, but a lot of Jones' stuff was schemed. A lot of screens, a A lot of easy throws downfield. He wasn't thrown into windows, tight windows like Burrow was. Mike Renner, I was listening to him like it was like a week or so ago. I think he was talking about how Burrow, in terms of tight window throws, doubled Jones in that regard. And to be fair, Jones, he's making the correct decisions. You know, it's not really his fault if his playmakers are getting that much separation, that much space. You know, but it is definitely something that you should consider, at least when picking Jones. That's why I think he's going to be a late first round guy. Washington, though, I think they're probably better off maybe if they do want to bring in somebody, just go with a Cam Newton. You can get on a bargain deal to be there with Heineke and Alex Smith if you really do want to bring in another person to that quarterback room, and then maybe address the quarterback position sometime in 2020, the 2022 offseason. KADARIUS Toney going to the Bears. I actually like Toney to Washington a little bit better, but he's going to the Bears here. I don't know. Allen Robinson is going to be a free agent. I think it's dangerous when you have these guys on the outside that have no real size. Toney's definitely better used as an underneath type of guy. I know Mooney, that's a guy that could get crazy separation downfield, but you still want some size around there. I don't know, maybe Anthony Miller moves to the outside, but I think he's better in the slot. I don't know. I think Rashad Bateman's just a better call here, but keep in mind, we talked about it last week. Bateman, he could see it, maybe not necessarily the type of fall Tyler Johnson had, but he could see a definite fall in this draft. I don't know. Maybe there's a Minnesota bias out there. Kwity Paye falling to 21. I just don't think it'll happen. Kwity Paye, I think he flashes top 10 to top 15 potential. I can't see him falling out of the top 10, top 15. Again, the draft is crazy. Crazier things have happened. Could very well happen. I don't see it. Gregory Rousseau, though, man. If I'm Tennessee, man, why would I mean, this is great value for Rousseau. I'm not gonna lie. That's great value. It's still a good pick, but it's like, man, we just moved away from, like, I don't think they're gonna bring Clowney back, and that project just kind of fell flat on its face. Why am I gonna bring a guy whose upside is probably the same thing, but he's just a developmental prospect? He's way, way unpolished compared to Clowney. I don't know. I think I'd rather take a risk on guys like Jason Oweh or Azeez Ojulari. So that's just me. The Jets go Elijah Vera Tucker. This kind of makes sense if you're assuming this is a Joe Douglas type of pick. He loves the trenches, man. I'd still be in the market of getting playmakers for Zach Wilson if that's your quarterback. Rashad Bateman's here. Just asking to be picked up, you know, so I think I'd rather go with that. Najee Harris, man, going to the Steelers. You already know, if you ain't new to the channel, I hate running backs in the first round. I think there's better value to be had, especially if they're Steelers. There's other positions that probably need your attention. Maybe offensive tackle. Cosme's on the board. Alex Leatherwood's on the board. Tevin Jenkins, who's a really good fit, I think, for the Steelers, is on the board. I mean, you could go secondary, maybe Trevon Moehrig, I think would be an interesting pick here to pair up with Mika Fitzpatrick. I know some people like Edmonds, but I think he's better as like a Mark, like how Mark Barron like moved from safety to linebacker and really had kind of was a resurgence to his career. I think Edmonds is better in that role. Honestly, I think there's a real possibility that running back goes it like one, maybe even two running backs go in the first round. Like, I think Travis Etienne and Najee Harris have a good chance of doing that, but I personally wouldn't do it. I know people are really high on Harris. I get it. He's a great prospect. It's just there's better value to be had. That's just my opinion. And let's go to the next slate of picks. Trevon Moehrig, man. This is, I think, the one safety in this class who has a chance to be picked in the first round. I thought if Andre Sisco didn't get hurt, he would have had a very good chance of doing that as well. But I don't think that'll happen for him. I think he'll be a day two guy. Moehrig, though, this guy just flashes like everything you want to see from a safety. Ideal size. His process and instincts were on point this year. Something that was probably my biggest question mark. The guy really got like he was like in like it's not like he was bad at getting to the ball, but he wasn't very good at making plays on the ball. He was more so, hey, I'm gonna meet the receiver when the ball gets there, jar it loose, or get my hand at the catch point. But no, he was getting there early now, man. The guy was, and this is what was so good about his teammate, Darius Washington, who is going to fall in this trap because his size sucks, unfortunately. It's just the truth. So Morig, I thought, really helped his stock out a ton. Nick Bolton. I think he's actually a great scheme fit for the Browns. I've seen a lot of people say the Browns, they don't necessarily value linebacker that highly, but still Nick Bolton's solid, dude. He's great against the run. He's probably one of the best coverage linebackers in this class. He just has instincts. And I think he'd be a good fit for Cleveland. Some people be like, oh man, what about David Collins? I think when it comes to like guys like JOK, Bolton, and Collins, they all provide vastly different things. So it's really whatever you're looking for in your linebacker, you're gonna go with one of those three guys. But yeah, man, they just offer very different things, and I think Collins isn't necessarily that type of fit. I guess unless you see him like a Anthony Barr, but maybe they do. Azeez Ojulari, dude, I think it'd be a steal for the Falcons. I imagine this is the pick if they don't bring back Yannick Ngakoue, because I think that's probably the easiest comp to make with Ojulari. They're both guys at least you assume with Azeez, he's going to struggle because of his size against the run in the NFL, which Yannick, he does. But I mean, what Yannick does best is rush the passer. He is a very good speed rusher. And that's what Ojulari, dude, he's got amazing bend, dude. This guy just, for me, it's special. And I honestly, I'm in love with this prospect. Terrace Marshall going to the Saints again, man. If I'm the Saints, man, I'm trying to. Maybe they think Jameis Winston is it. Maybe they think Taysom Hill is it. If so, then cool. Yeah, grab them more weapons. They have some really big free agents, especially on defense. So a guy with like Zaven Collins, I would be very intrigued with. Marshall, though, I understand he's got great size, really good speed for his size. You don't want to maybe miss out on maybe another Justin Jefferson-esque prospect. I don't think he's nearly to the level of Justin Jefferson. But, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess if you're the Saints, you could go that way. Elijah Moore, though, man. Elijah Moore's been getting a lot of first-round, hype. I think he's a slot guy, though, man. I get it. The slot corner, slot receiver, those are now starting positions in the NFL. And this guy has got great route running, man. He is top notch. I just don't know if I could talk myself into putting him in the first round just yet. I got a second. I have moved him up to a second round grade. I mean, honestly, the Packers, I'd be more willing to take a shot at one of the corners that are a fringe first round pick here. So like an Eric Stokes, like a Tyson Campbell, I think I'd be more inclined to take shots there. Or maybe even go out and try to grab one of these pass rushers. And you'd be like, well, they got Rashawn Gary and Zadarius Smith. And Preston Smith's probably maybe going to be a cap casualty, potentially. So, I don't know. I wouldn't mind taking a shot on like a Owe. Travis Etienne to the Bills, I don't get it. I know some people are like, yeah, they should go running back. And it's like, I don't get it. Your defense, man. Go defense. Like you saw in that game against the Chiefs, they need more speed. They need more speed. They don't have it. Like underneath, I'm sorry, Tremaine Edmonds, he's not a good coverage linebacker. He's just not. He got annihilated. He got destroyed underneath. The middle of the field was open all day. They really needed to bring in like an extra safety or something to try to shore that up. I think you try to go in that direction. You try to grab maybe a Tyson Campbell, Santi Samuel, Eric Stokes, maybe go for trade back, try to get an Andre Cisco. Like, I think there's I'm honestly starting to lean towards even go after some pass rush, like, because like I know they got the cat out of Iowa, whose name's escaping me right now, who kind of showed up in the championship game, but I mean, Jerry Hughes, he's up there in dog years. And I think isn't Trent Murphy is a free agent? I think maybe Mario Addison is too. Yeah, I don't like the value here for Travis Etienne. And I love Etienne as a prospect. Don't get me wrong. Tommy Togiai, I think is how you say his name, at Ohio State. Very interesting. Because I got a 3rd round grade on this cat because I think he's very limited. Like, he's very good at what he can do. But I think he's like a 3-tech only. He's kind of like, there's no real versatility of where you could put him on the line. He hasn't played over 300 snaps in a season ever. So you got to question, is he a 3-down type of player? I mean, I get, like, again, if I'm the Bucks, I'm looking for an immediate starter. And I mean, you're probably not going to be able to hold on to Jason Owe, or maybe JPP is a potential cap casualty. So why not go after a pass rusher like Jason Owe, Boogie Basham? Like, one of those guys I think I'd be a little intrigued with. Shoot, Zayvon Collins is still on the board, dude. He might be a fun piece to mess around with in that front 7, especially if you don't bring back Levante David, which I can't imagine them not. So I kind of question that. I don't think it's great value. I think it's terrible, like bad value here. Wyatt Davis going to the Chiefs. A lot of people like mocking him here, which I think that's fine. I think if you're the Chiefs, you kind of could do a few fun things. Honestly, I love the idea of going with pass rush because Frank Clark only shows up apparently in the playoffs when it matters. And his contract sucks. He is not an elite pass rusher. He's barely an above average pass rusher. So I think getting some help on the line to help your corners, which are fairly really good. Like, that secondary is pretty darn good for the Chiefs. They have developed some quality guys. And to bring a guy like Brashard Breeland, who might be an average starter at best, really elevated his play throughout the season. Yeah, I think, shoot, maybe even Zayvon Collins is kind of interested here. I think there's just better picks here than Wyatt Davis. I like Wyatt Davis, but I just think there's better picks. But overall, I'm surprised Collins didn't go in the first round at all. Like, that's actually probably the biggest surprise here. 2 running backs in the first round, though. Mamma mia, that's a bit too spicy for me, but I could definitely see it happen. I think part of this was a bit predictive. So, again, I mean, when you're doing a predictive mock draft, it's not necessarily what you would do, but what you think happens. And can you really be at fault to think that would happen? You know, there is a precedent for running backs going this early. And again, it's no knock on Najee Harris and Travis Etienne. It's just the position. It's not as important as it once was. You could find guys late in the draft that fill your system just fine, you know? So, yeah, and that's just my opinion on it. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. And that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. Go ahead, become a member as well. It's always much appreciated, much obliged. And until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.